Welcome to the Obscure Star Wars Experiment campaign. At the end of of last episode, I mentioned that I was thinking about doing this combat first, and I think that I will do exactly that because I want to give you a hands-on preview of hands-on, not really, but a preview, an on-camera. There you go. Preview of how the system works, but in a way that is a bit less has less at stake than my own guy possibly risking being shot with many bullets. So, if you remember last time, we had the Blackstar team. Actually, let me turn on the UI. We had a Blackstar team move from Spylift to the gangland and then take the raid action. However, from Vashek's Rest, we had a team of rats move to the gangland and then take their own raid action, which wasn't to raid the gangland and choose a point of interest and then fight there, but instead raid the Blackstar team. And I did a few rolls off camera to set the raid. This is the map. I have a couple of notes in that have the POI where the raid is happening, a modifier for the raid. Every raid has a modifier. In this case, there is half the loot caches, we'll see that, and then a small blurb of lore just to mesh it together. The Chagrian Enclave is a point of interest that I added to the gangland this morning, so last episode it was not there. And right here we have our two teams. On the left we have our scavengers, each with their own items that I drew from a deck of loadouts, and on the right instead we have our two Blackstar units with their own items. Now to start, each raid features at least 2 infill points and 2 exfil points. So if you are familiar with other skirmish games, 2 points from which you can deploy units, but also 2 points from which your units can leave, because the point of a raid usually is to get in a place, loot as much stuff as possible, and then leave before the timer runs out. There are 6 turns. There you go. And any unit that is left on the field that has not exfilled by the end of the 6th turn is considered lost. In the case of NPCs, they are just removed from play and their items also deleted. In the case of the player, if I am a good player and I have a smidge of luck, you will never have to find out. If I'm not, and I have either bad luck or a skill issue in the game that I wrote myself, you will see what happens if a player unit is left on the field beyond, quote unquote, the curfew. So the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to roll for who gets to deploy the first unit. I'm going just to use this D10 for everyone, which is going to be 10 for the scavs. Nice. And 6 for the for Blackstar. So the scav gets to place the first unit. Now, some exfills and infills can have conditions, like this one needs to be opened. This one cannot be used by specific units, and so can infill points. The funny thing is that any unit can deploy from any infill point they meet the prerequisites. So enemies could deploy from the same thing. Now, because I have a normal deployment point, I think I will scout. This unit cannot deploy from the ceiling. I believe I will do Scaver 1. I will deploy them here. And I'm going to say that, yeah, there's about a... yeah, there's the scav back. So instead, the raider, I will say that the raider was already within the building when the party was taken by surprise. Then I'm going to say that scav 2. Oh, none of the scavs can deploy from the side. Okay. Deploys from the east, and then the poor grunt who cannot deploy from the kitchen must be very close to these two people, and in fact he is going to do something silly, which I'm going to put a finger on the screen because otherwise there. This is very unfortunate for the poor grunt. I generated the loadouts after deciding the infills. Oh, this could be awful. I'm going to see who gets first activation. So this is going to be the roll for the scavs. 5, and then the roll for the raiders, for the Blackstar. That's a 1. Scavs activated first. Now, I forgot to mention, because to deploy, a team must have at least 2 units on the field, and the scavs have 3. As the scavenger player, I am choosing to keep this unit in reserve and deploy it on a future turn. So, turn 1. Turn 1, I as the scavs, I am going to pick one of its units. Let's say scav 1. And then with scav 1, I can take 3 actions, which are going to be this is scav 1. Actually, you need to stay here because otherwise I forget who's who has what. So scav 1 has a DL-18 blaster pistol and a gun pack, and notices that Mr. Grunt has a rifle, the DC-15S, which could be very easily fitted into the gun pack. However, so I could shoot. However, the aim score of scavers, all of them, they are the same profile, is 7+, and 7+ on a D10 is not much. So I believe that Mr. Scav, being... Did I click the right thing? I did not. Being much faster, not much, somewhat faster, their speed is 5, is going to take an action to move 5 to the entrance of the machine shop, then take another action to move inside, and then take its last action to check the contents of the loot cache. And do I have, there you go, the loot cache deck. So this loot cache has only 1 card. That's unfortunate. After all, previous raiders did already lose this place. So we are going to see what happens. Droid parts. These are, for the moment, these are only a source of money. You can sell them for 500 times 3, which is 1500 credits. Actually, you can sell them. You can sell them for half that, because sell is half price. However, if one had enough droid parts and a droid brain, they could build a droid and not have to buy it. So instead, I'm going to say that this. Wait, no. They need. They would need another action to take it. So this is going to stay here. Actually, let me see if I can do something like turn it into a bag and then go blap. And that's the first activation of Scav 2. Scav 2, not Scav 1. Okay. Scav 2 has a Scav bag, more than enough space. Perfect. Now, because activations are alternating between players, it is Blackstar's turn. And as Blackstar player, I am going to say that my grunt is in very deep trouble. Now, Battle Buddy could say means that they can give actions to their companion if they are within a certain distance. They're not, so that's not possible. And Rifleman simply means that this unit can use rifles. So, being generally decent at combat, because they are mercenaries and they have some measure of training, I believe that Mr. Grunt. Of course, I forgot something. I forgot to add doors. I'm going to say that there's a door here that leads here, then leads here, then leads here. There's an L sort of shaped of connections. So primary door is here. Blackstar Grunt is, I need to do the thing. Professional people. Somewhat slower unit. Let me actually wait. There you go. They're going to move here, and they're going to move here. Yes. And because they were going to, the Blackstar mercs were here to actually loot the place. This Blackstar Grunt is going to do a bit of shooting with its last action. Now, he has a DC 15S with a range of 12. He could use suppression instead of shooting and force the enemy to roll attacks twice and pick the worst. However, the combat scores of Scavers are bad enough that it's probably not necessary. So I'm going to take my D10. I'm going to take my heat die for the DC 15S because it is a blaster instead of a slug thrower. And then I'm going to roll a shot. I have a 7 on the attack die, which is more than 6, so this is a hit. And I have a not 1, anything but a 1 on the hit die means that nothing bad happens. And because I did not specify which body part I was shooting at of my target, it's assumed that I was shooting at the chest, and it is a wound to the chest. Now, I need my wound die. I could have gone for the head, or the arms. The game tells 4 locations: torso, head, arms, legs. By default, if no specific location is specified, because sorry for the pun, the shot is aimed at the chest, because people usually go for center mass. In this case, it helped. Had I gone for the head, I would have had a harder time. I would have hit on an 8+ instead of a 6. However, this scaver has a blast hat, which would have meant that the attack would have been would have done nothing, because armor is ablative, and the number of shields on an armor card tells you how many attacks do they absorb. Not the head, sorry, chest. A unit that has the chest or the head wounded cannot be activated until that wound is removed, and then we will see at the end of the raid what happens with wounds. So I'm going to copy this to the card to remind myself that this unit has suffered at least a torso wound. That was action number 3. So back to the scavs. As the scav, I could activate this gentleman. I could also activate this reserve gentleman. However, they would only be able to deploy from here, and that would take their first action, which is unfortunate. So instead, I'm just going to say that this scavenger is going to do what they came here to do, which is shoot fools. So they are going to move 1 action. There you go. And then look at that. Looky here. The yeah, this grunt does not have any armor, so I believe the scaver is going to shoot twice at its chest. It's not on the card because I couldn't find a decent enough representation of a D4, but the heat die for the DL18 pistol is a D4. So shot number 1 is a miss and no heat, thankfully. Shot number 2 is a hit because they hit on 7 pluses, and not a heat, not a overheat as well. So Brother Grunt is going to be wounded. I actually need to do that as well. Now, the Blackstar Raider, hearing the kerfuffle outside, is going to again remind me I forgot to do things. Is going to take an action to move through the door here. That's going to be 3. That's going to be 1. I am keeping some tolerance with half units because the game doesn't tell half units, but DTS does. So it gets quite tiresome quite quickly. And he is instead going to... unfortunately, he has to take a whole action to move here. Keeping in mind that he has 2 movement points, 2 movement units left. And then he, as his last action, he's going to look at this cache. So I need to make it a bag because I forgot. Thank you. I'm going to shuffle the deck a bit, and then I'm going to do bang and bang. Okay. So a smoke grenade and a very not valuable. There's a few items in the game that are just parts of a weapon, and if you find enough of them, you can just bloop, coalesce the weapon so that you don't have to buy it, or you don't have to loot it. And so I'm going to give it just a pretty active shuffle, and then as the third activation of the third scaver, because we alternate. I believe scaver number 3 has a backpack, so he is not really capable of deploying from here, so instead he's going to take his first action to deploy from here. And then measure movement. He's going to take the rest of the turn to move here. I'm going to keep sort of this line as the sort of the north edge of the map, and that was turn 1. Now we have turn 2, and first activation remains to wait. No, sorry, haha. I always forget that because the number of activations is equal. So because I activated 3 times the scavers, then I must activate 3 times the mercenaries. However, you may be wondering, wait, mercs don't have enough units. Correct. So instead, I'm going to pick a unit that has already activated, in which case the mercs have only 1, which is Gentleman Raider, who gets a whole new activation, so 3 actions worth, and hold on, his vibro bayonet is inside the blast vest because it can keep an extra accessory, and because every unit has 2 accessory slots by default, which is basically assumed to represent their play carrier webbing. The original rule set was made for a modern style game, so plate carriers were a thing, and like dumb pouches were a thing, and so on and so forth. In the case of Star Wars, I'm assuming that they have like a utility belt with very big pouches. So as an action, they're going to take the smoke pop, which might actually be kinda useful immediately. E3 carbine has a range of 6, so they're gonna have to take an action to move, and then they have to go here. They have a blast vest, meaning they can take some heat, so I think they will. I'll take a move to move here. Are you within 6? You are within 6, and then the that could be already something. However, this gentleman would rather actually no. I am going to do the responsible thing. I am going to use a suppression. So I'm going to take the heat die, and because it says 2 on the card at the start of the paragraph, I'm going to roll the heat die twice, and any one is an overheat. There you go, no overheat. Do I have my suppression token? I do have my suppression token. I believe this is from Legion. Suppression. We're going to do like that. There you go. Can I see it? No. Okay. So this unit is suppressed, and then we go to turn number 2, meaning that specifically because the suppression weapon is an E3, this unit hits on 8s instead of 7s. So turn 2, because the Blackstar won first activation, this means that for every time that the enemy activates, I activate as well. So they have 2 activations actually, because one is down. I get 2 as well, so I get this one and the next one. Mr. Blackstar Raider is... Wait, can you... You're not going to move. Amazing. You're not going to move. You're going to shoot this scaver in the noggin. That's scaver 2. And miss. And overheat. Ooh, that's an overheat. So I'm going to add the overheat die to this. So what happens now? Well, I must take an action to vent the heat, because blasters don't need to reload very often. If I'm not mistaken, their gas canisters can last hundreds of shots. And I might actually... I need to spend my other action to I made a mistake, because the suppression would have gone away. I'll keep it there. That's okay. He's going to shoot again. 6+. He is very unlucky. Very unlucky, because that was 2 50-50s that were comically failed. Then it is the rat's turn, which means yes, that's the deck. Okay, it's not been abandoned. Which one of you has a med kit? The one who is bleeding on the floor. Nice. Medkit with only 1 use. So, scaver number 1 is going to go here, and he's going to use his friend's medkit. So this goes to the almighty bin. Where is the bin? There is the bin. To bring this gentleman back to its feet, remove the wound. However, this die here is staying, and it will be relevant for later. So that was 1 action, 2 actions. He does not have a weapon that is suppression capable, because a DL-18 is just meh. So instead, he is going to take the droid parts from you are number 3, right? I can remember things. To inside the gun pack. I need to do something slightly unfortunate, something like this. No, come on, Tal. Kinda. Let's go with it. And that's his turn. Second activation for the Blackstar, who is going... So the only medkit in the room has been used. However, Mr. Raider does not know that. So his thing would be either clearing this scav here, getting to his friends, and then dragging the bastard to the exit, or scav number 2 has a blast hat. Actually, it's the blast hat on scav number 2 and the backpack on scav number 2, not necessarily a bad idea to nick. So I think this is total. We have 3, 4, 5, 6, and then there are 2 more activations from turn 2. Okay, so the Blackstar Raider is going to do the following. He is going to shoot Rat Scaver 2. Actually, no, he's going to shoot Rat Scaver 3 with his newly cooled EE3 carbine. That's a 9. Ooh. Scav number 3 does not have any defenses, so he gets a torso wound, he gets blapped. Then he is going to take a movement towards his fallen comrade, who is, well, it's Star Wars, so he's not bleeding on the floor, because there's only one Star Wars movie, if I'm not mistaken, in which people bleed, which is the first one. However, third action, haha, would you look at that? Somebody's about to be shot in the back of the head. And the back of the head shootage is on the scav. Wait, hold on. This is gone. That's a 10. No heat. Torso wound. Blah. You discover number 1, right? Yes. I'm gonna put a wound here. And that is going to be it. Now, scav number 2 is very much not having a good day, because he got shot, and then he got jabbed with a suspicious needle, and then he got brought back up, and then his friend got shot in front of him. So let me see, do I... Okay, I'm going to say that on the one hand, they were here to kill or mug the Blackstars, and that's kind of failed. So I will say on a odd number, he's going to engage the Blackstar Raider, or on an even number, he is going to do his best, which is leave. Because scavers, be they rats or unaffiliated, aren't famous for their loyalty to each other. He's going to engage. Well, that's unfortunate. I might make some behavior cards in the future, or like have a matrix of possible like an AI sort of checklist of sorts. I didn't make one for this campaign because I wanted a bit more narrative control, but I think that could be useful for the coming raids. So I'm going to turn, and now Mr. Raider is staring down the barrel of 3 shots, which is, even at 7+, it's not bad. However, 2 blast vests, so two ablative pips. So maybe this goes well. That's a miss on the first attack. That's a hit on the second attack, and that is... no, wrong. And then that was the second attack. He could go for the head with his third attack. However, because the Raider does not have anything on the head protecting the face. However, the head is a +2 to the difficulty, so they would be hitting on 9s, and 9 is painful. I had it happen once, but that was a stroke of luck. You know what? That blast vest is blap, destroyed. However, because it can still contain stuff, it is going to stay there. So that was third activation for the scavers. Then this is going to be the last activation for the for the Black Stars. And then we're going to go to turn 3. So this gentleman is going to shoot the pike. Miss and overheat. Nice. Okay. He's going to take another action to unvent heat. This is going to be problematic. Nope. Completely miss everything. Okay, now this could be very bad. Let me see. This quote-unquote morale check. What happens? He's going to stay and fight. Okay. So I need this. Is he going to stay and fight? I don't think he will, actually, because this is looking grim. Ooh, I know what he's doing. So more pockets means that a scavenger has baseline 3 accessory slots instead of 2, and pilfer means that he can move 2 items per action instead of 1. So he's going to do the funny thing, which is look at his friend, which is I believe Scav 1. Ooh, his friend is broke. His friend is broke, and he is going to take the DL-18 and the droid parts. No. Steve. Oh, come on, Steve. Fine. Good to do it this way. You were working so well until I started rolling the bloody camera. That checks. He's going to, as a single action, take those 2 items from his friend, because, you know. And then, because this door is actually here, he is going to take 2 actions for 2. Okay. And run for the hills. Okay, and now the funny thing is that because the scavs only have 1 unit left on the field, and Blackstar already activated, and they still have only 1 unit, all the activatable units on the field have been exhausted, and so we go to turn 4. And now it starts getting interesting, because I need to do some math. So I could go 1 action to here and use 1. I need 1 action to grab my friend, and then I need to go here, because that's the only exit I can take while dragging my friend, which means that I'm going to be at -1 speed, which means 3. So I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's going to be 6 actions. So that's going to be effectively the entirety of turn 5, half of turn 6, and then 1 action from this turn. So we would have a single action to spare, basically. Let's look back at it, thinking about units without backpacks. Yeah, exactly. Oh. Yeah, I think it will be, this will be what happens. So it's gonna move there, grab the friend, and move 3. You can go down, sir. And then right scaver, right bastard is gonna go here, and instead of taking a CQC attack to open the door, I'm going to say that he just shoots it for a free hit and an action and a roll of the heat die, which is nothing. So that's going to be bam bam. Third action left, and he's off to the races. And that is turn 5. Now, turn 5 is 1 action, 2 actions, 3 actions, and then there are no enemies on the field. That's going to be all the actions, and the entirety of Blackstar has X-Field. Now comes the one of my favorite things, which is the post-raid sequence, which is twofold. First thing, I'm going to grab my die, and I'm going to go through all of these wounds, which might turn into critical wounds. So, torso wound on Scaver number 1. On a 6+, Scaver is fine. Scaver is not fine. Scaver 1 takes a critical wound, and because its resilience score is 1 critical wound meets 1 resilience, Scaver is dead. Bye bye. And then I'm going to do the same for everybody else. So you, sir, are dead. And then you, sir, are dead as well. Effectively, what happened is that these two scavs are already dead by the time that the local other scavengers, other gang members, other mercenaries, other just also animals are drawn to the scene by the sound of the fighting. This is what the almighty turn counter represents, and this is why there's a turn limit of 6. So you want to be quick before you are swamped. And then this other scaver, we could very easily say that they managed to leave, but they were either killed by other denizens of level 1522 or died to their wounds. And then we're going to do the same for the grunt. Hopefully he doesn't die. That's a 9. He does not. So he is healed of this wound. He is not killed on the spot. He does not die to his wounds. And we're going to do the last thing, which is the tallying of veterancy. Veterancy is the equivalent of XP. And so I am going to grab the list and I'll be right back. The veterancy pool. In this case, it's not a pool. It's just veterancy. It is going to be added to the Blackstar team. So, I have a checklist. The unit looted the body of another unit from a different raiding party. That is a no, because neither of these units raided anything. Let me grab a die of some kind. Neither unit looted a loot cache. However, a unit, the Blackstar Raider, did take at least 6 actions to move. Both units wounded an enemy unit. The grunt was wounded by an enemy unit, so that's 4. The unit suffered a critical wound. No. And the unit successfully exfilled. Yes. In this case, I'm going to count the exfilled specifically for the raider, because the grunt was not conscious when they were dragged out to the exfil point. So that's 5 veterancy that I am going to add to the Blackstar team. Okay, that was the first raid of the campaign. That was the tutorial, so to speak. This poor team has been removed, trenched from existence, and on this point, next episode, which is going to be episode 2 proper, hopefully. I think I should probably ditch numbering the episodes for progressively, because that system has gone. Apologies. That system has already gone out of the window. However, next episode we are going to see if the rumor of the contract lead of that case of guns having been spotted at the abandoned Kodosmek plant in shift 1, so 12 hours ago, is true or not. And with that said, I thank you for bearing with me as I try to get the hang of this, and I'll see you next time. Bye.